Welcome to Manchester, home of the Magic weekend, and the Magic returns this week. I'm George Riley. This is Touchline. Well, it doesn't seem like 5 minutes, does it, since Kevin Sinfield lifted that famous Super League trophy again for the latest time at Old Trafford. But we're ready to go for Super League, another season of extraordinary rugby from these extraordinary players.
There's a real buzz now around all the players. I think we're a week off the start of the season, and I think everyone's waiting to play. Everyone's had a few tasted in friendlies, but it's not like quite the same. So everyone's raring to go. Not Wigan, we certainly are.
I'm ready. I've had a good pre-season. My body feels good, so I've got no excuses really. I'm ready to go.
Obviously, we've got a new set of senior players now, and they're setting the standards and showing us where we need to be in professionalism and in training.
We're confident. We're looking pretty good, and we're feeling pretty good, I think.
Yeah, everything's going well. We're signed well. It's probably the best since I've been here. Brought some experience and some good attacking players, and as well as defenders as well.
We're quite a young team now, and the younger people will have a little bit of less pressure on the shoulders, to perform. But I think within the camp, everyone knows what their role is, and everybody wants to perform. And I think if we go out there, we'll shock a few people, especially if we're getting underestimated.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. As I said, to get it out there to the wider audience. Hopefully, it brings in new fans, and I think they can do more of it just to advertise rugby league on a whole, because it's one of the most watched sports in England on Sky Sports, and the more they get it out there and bring in a wider audience, the better it's going to be for everyone. My little lad, he loves it anyway, because he tells everyone I can throw balls for a while.
So a real buzz about the return of Super League, but plenty to ponder as well ahead of 2013 that proves to be an absolutely crucial year for the sport of rugby league. Let's speak to a couple of the game's leading journalists, Chris Irvin and Neil Barraclough, join me. Hi guys, what's your feeling first of all, Chris, ahead of what looks like being a landmark year for the sport?
It is. It's a long season, 10 months, culminates in the World Cup. Steve McNamara has made it clear that he's looking for form players. Play yourself in form, get yourself into that England squad for the World Cup, and it's an exciting year, everything to play for, and in terms of winning the thing, who knows again, is it going to be Leeds from fifth for a third time? Who knows? Brilliant.
What do you expect to see on the pitch? We didn't expect Leeds to do it again, perhaps some people did. In terms of looking at the right end of Super League, any surprises, do you think, this year?
I think everyone's talking about Hull potentially breaking through, aren't they? But I still think Warrington will be the team to beat in terms of the regular league season. Leeds' playoff quality is obviously unmatched now. They're unrivalled in that kind of atmosphere, in that situation. But I have a sneaky feeling for Warrington this year that they will go one step better than last year.
Does it make it more special that this is a World Cup year and that it's a home World Cup year?
It is. There's no doubt about that. There's that carrot at the end of the season for everybody. That World Cup place, that place possibly in a World Cup final at Old Trafford. England have not been in a World Cup final since 1995. There's so much incentive there for that, and we've got a lot of young players. I mean, Neil's talked about Warrington, but I like the look of St Helens. Some young kids there, and a Nathan Brown new coach, and a lot of people I think in that squad who have got that incentive as well to push over England places. exciting stuff.
I don't know how much you've seen of any of the clubs in pre-season, but are there perhaps a couple of players you could pick out that you expect really to shine, Neil, this year?
I think everyone's just so excited about Gareth Ellis coming back, aren't they? He's the main signing in Super League this year. He's the one that's grabbed all the attention, and I think he's the one that will really catch the eye. I like the look of Joel Moon at Leeds. They've finally found this replacement for Keith Senior that can move Ablett back into the pack. But I think the other teams like Warrington, they haven't brought anyone in. I think there will be 5 or 6, maybe even 7 teams this year that are realistic shouts for the grand final. I think that there's more teams being added into that top end that can compete when it comes to the end of the season.
What about the strugglers this year? Any surprises, do you think, in terms of teams that may not have a successful season as they did last year?
I don't know, maybe I'm being mad here, George, but I think I've got a sneaky feeling that London are going to get into the 8. I think with Tony Ray, he got them going last year. There's some good kids down there, Kieran Dixon, people like that. I think London might just this year crack that top 8 under Tony again. As for the strugglers, I'm worried about Salford. There's just signed so few. Widnes might just, second season syndrome. I don't know. I think they'll be better for that first year run out. I think it might be a bit of a struggle for Hulkingston Rovers as well, and Castleford. Wakefield did fantastically at the end of last season, and pressure on them to see if they can get into that elite top 8 again.
And as a final thought, both Chris and Neil, in terms of it being a World Cup year, a year in which we hope the world will be watching the sport we love, how crucial is it that Rugby League has its house in order and that we don't repeat some of the problems we saw off the pitch in 2012, that isn't repeated in 2013 when we're trying to attract more people into the sport and to watch the sport that we all love?
In some respects, it feels a bit like a make or break year on that front. There will be so much attention on Rugby League this year, and there is such a massive opportunity if England go well in the World Cup, and if the season progresses without the kind of difficulties that we saw last year with Bradford and with Salford during the off-season. It's so important that clubs start operating within their means and we don't see a repeat of those problems, and then follow that up with a successful England campaign in the World Cup, and I think the sport could have some momentum behind it.
Chris?
I think there's onus on clubs and everybody in the sport to promote a good news message. This has to be a year of positivity, not negativity, not backbiting, a year of positivity to take forward to that World Cup. Because I agree with Neil, there's a bit of make or break. There's enough cracks and fissures in Rugby League for them to open further. I don't want to see that, but there's a great opportunity this year. It's up to the game to seize it.
Well, let's hope you're right. Thank you, guys. Well, let's remind ourselves then of some of the best moments and the best scores of last season. What a year 2012 was. Here's top 5. Try 5. This effort from Hull FC and Kirk Newman, seemingly going nowhere. Hull FC just keep the ball alive, working it left to right, and then a terrific turn of pace from Turner. Gets the incentive through the middle, and it's Yeaman who ducks over and just about makes it. Fourth best, how about this from the Magic weekend? Sam Tompkins doing what he does best. Amazing little show and go, and how about that for electric pace and the finish in the corner. Third best, this from the Bradford Bulls. Bit of Harlem Globetrotter stuff to keep the ball alive. How about that? The finish was the easy bit. Try number 2, again in the Hull derby. Scored by Hodgson right at the death to steal a win, the step and the pace, and a bit of magic on Magic weekend. Top try though, and the most dramatic moment of the Super League season. St Helens 4 up on the Catalan Dragons as the hooter sounds. The kick is dealt with, Damien Blanche going nowhere. Then a missed kick, and the Dragons go again from right to left with St Helens stretched. And eventually the key little pass from Duro, and Millard off the left with the top try. Well, this man had a phenomenal 2012, leading Leeds Rhinos to Super League glory once again. And on an individual note, capped by winning the Golden Boot, recognised as the best player in World Rugby League. Kevin Sinfield, how quickly it's all come round again. I bet you can't believe you've got to get going straight away now.
No, I'm ready to go actually. It's can't come around quick enough each time, and the training's great and it's nice having a few weekends off, but after that you get bored, and it's great to know now we're sort of a few days away from the start, and the lads have trained really hard, and looking forward to our first home game of the year.
You have to look forward, as you do as a professional sportsman. Do you ever take stock and look back after the dust settled on 2012 and think, blimey, I can't believe what I and we achieved?
Yeah, it's it was just a real strange scenario, and the last sort of 4 or 5 months have been real surreal, and pinched myself at some of it. To come from 5th again was unreal, and to win the grand final and captain England and got the Golden Boot, it was all it's all a bit of a blur still. So, but I think you can't look back. There ain't time to look back. Because before you know it, there's a 18-stone bloke trying to trample on you, and you've got to get ready for that. So.
And that's just Barry McDermott in training.
Yeah, well, he's not on his own. So it's the games can't come quick enough. Ultimately, they're what we're all here for, and I play every day if I could. I love playing and the challenge of it, and 2013's got some huge challenges that lie in wait for all of us.
What's 2013 going to be like? You listen to your chief executive Gary Hetherington and Nigel Wood, the boss of the RFL, calling it a landmark year, perhaps the most important year for the sport since, well, perhaps ever.
Yeah, and I'd have to agree. I think we certainly internationally, if we start with that, I know it's October, November time, but if we start with that, if we can get that right at the end of the year, and then 40 years of hurt and bring that World Cup trophy home, the shot in the arm it'd give the whole game, it'd be huge. Internationally and crowd-wise is something we look at and know we need to be stronger. When we compare to other sports, other national sports, rugby unions, your footballs, they fill stadiums out, and we are still struggling to do that. So I think because of what's going on at the end of the year, we'll see not only a better Super League than last year, but I think it'll be head and shoulders above anything we've seen before. I think everybody's competing not only for the Super League trophy and the Challenge Cup, that's up for grabs, but also World Cup spots, and I think it's a huge carrot for every player, every English eligible player, and really looking forward to the year. The challenges can't come fast enough for us.
Do you talk about the World Cup between yourselves as players? Are you purely focused on doing your day-to-day job, or do you sit back and think, wow, this could be something quite special, a home World Cup? They don't come around much.
No, they don't. I think you need to be aware of it. You need to know how the squad's going to be selected and what lies in wait come the back end of the year, but ultimately you've got to play well, and the place to do that is for your club. So I won't say we talk about it. I think we all realise what's at stake at the back end, and how we need to play to get into that squad. And first and foremost is playing well this Friday, and if you can start well, continue that, and like I said before, what Steve's put together has been fantastic, and I think the pool of players that's available now is bigger and better than it's ever been, and you've got to play well to get in the squad.
And having lifted the Super League trophy again, you are again the team everyone will want to knock off their perch. You look around at some of these quite frightening figures behind us. There's going to be some real competition for you again this year.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there's some great teams, and the usual suspects will be there or thereabouts. But I think everyone's improved. Everybody's recruited really well, and even some of the sides down near the bottom of the table last year have, take Widnes for instance, bringing in Kevin Brown and Gareth Hock, and two great signings, and another year under the belt. I don't think there's an easy 2 points for anybody anywhere, and it's going to be a real competitive league.
Well, we wish you well again.
Thank you very much.
As we do to every Super League team. That's about it from us, but we are ready to go. The waiting's over. Everyone's buzzing to see Kevin's Leeds against Hull FC, the start of another season of extraordinary rugby.